welcome back to another episode of the Off the Bench podcast. I'm your host, Kobe and Aiden.
We are back.
Today, we're going to be talking about the NBA Finals. 2 games in, game 3 tomorrow, so we're going to be talking about our thoughts on that. Going to be breaking down UFC 316, which just happened over the weekend, and discussing Kamaru Usman's return in the fight night this weekend. And I believe you have some more, what do you call it?
Yeah, pause or play, little thing. Yeah, I got a couple. I don't think they're as good as last week, but I do have a couple. So I think we're going to start with those before we get into the NBA Finals.
Yep.
Yeah, I'll get into it. First one, this one's a trade.
Okay.
Trade offer for this season, this off season. Okay. I saw it and I didn't mind it. Yeah, I actually quite liked it. So the Jazz.
Yeah. Sorry, distracted, not them.
Okay, as you can see, we're in a new room. But the Jazz should trade Lauri Markkanen for Paul George and the 3rd overall pick in the 2025 NBA draft. So Lauri goes to Philly. They get Paul George
Philly
and the 3rd pick.
Paul George and number 3.
Yeah.
Nah. That's too much for Lauri.
Yeah, okay, so no from Philly.
Yeah.
Okay. You reckon?
Yeah.
Because Paul George hasn't been playing well. He was the 3rd option or a lot. I actually quite liked this trade. I could see it happening.
If it was Paul George and I'm trying to think like one of the young guys. Paul George and, I don't know, like a future pick. Or like 2 future picks.
Yeah.
I could see that. Well, I don't see them giving up number 3.
Yeah.
But just Lauri. If you say Paul George and number 3 for like Markkanen and Colin Sexton, it might be
a bit much.
It might be a different story, but just straight up, I think that's way too much for Lauri, especially after the year that he just had. He didn't have a good season in the head.
No, but he's still an all-star caliber player, and I think Paul George is very well past where he should be.
Yeah.
And with the news being out that the 76ers aren't keen on Ace Bailey,
yeah,
I didn't mind it. It was a way for them to get better in the next season and not have to worry about drafting.
Or maybe a swap.
Something like that.
Maybe a swap. Because what did you target? 6?
6, yeah.
You do 3 and 6 swap. Paul George and Markkanen. That's more realistic.
See, I think that's too much for Paul. Like, pretty much you're just trading. I don't think Paul George is worth that much in that trade. That's what I'm thinking.
No, well, Philly's dropping back.
Yeah.
To let Utah go up.
But it's still a deep draft for us. Like, I mean, I wouldn't be angry if I was the 6th overall pick. I'd be like, oh, okay.
I wouldn't either, but if all I had to give up, if I got Paul George back, which I can then go flit for something else, because I wouldn't keep him, let's be honest. I would be open to that if I was Utah. I like the 3 and 6 swap with the players more than just 3 standalone.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. I didn't mind the trade. I thought Jazz would obviously say yes, and I think with the whole Ace Bailey, they're not that keen on him. Philly might say yes to a trade like that.
Yeah.
I could see it happening.
I think Philly would want more back, even though they don't necessarily deserve more. I would think that they would want more in return.
Yeah. Okay.
Like they're giving up a lot for.
All right. So it's a pause for number 1.
Yeah.
All right. Number 2, Doc Rivers is an overrated coach.
Yeah. Hot take. I think he is. I think he's same
overrated as well.
Conversation as
Steve
Kerr. I don't think Steve Kerr is as good as he gets credit for. I think he's just.
I think I would rate Steve Kerr better than I would rate Doc.
I think Steve Kerr's better, but I think they both fall under the same umbrella, right? Like, I can't remember what the name of the head coach was that was before Kerr.
Mark Jackson,
but he built everything. He organized the offense. He's the one who, built the team.
Yeah.
Steve Kerr just kind of came in and took over.
He took over and went on. But I still would give Kerr some credit. Like,
I'll give him some credit as well. But
he's still a good coach.
I don't think he's as good as everyone says he is.
I don't think he's like an all-time great, one of the best coaches of all time.
Yeah.
But he's still a good coach. Like, I'm not going to sit here and be like, I would say he's a lot better than Doc. I think Doc.
I don't think a lot. Like, I think Doc is terrible, right? But I think
Doc has lost a lot of series that he shouldn't have lost. He's blown a couple of 3-1 leads. Without those big. It's not all on him because he's not the one on the court. But when you've done it on so many teams,
Yeah.
and you've lost on every single team when he shouldn't lose, and it's just like team after team after team. It's like, okay, you're the common factor.
Yeah.
So I would say he's an overrated coach. And like for me, this came up because of the Bucks saying, "Oh, we hope Doc Rivers will make Giannis stay."
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's not that good of a coach. Like he's not the coach that would make a play that let's stay for him.
Yeah, but
I just don't rate him that.
I think for some reason he still gets pretty good rap from players.
Mm.
Like whenever you hear something negative about him, it tends to come from media, but you never really hear a lot about him from other players in terms of like negative aspects. But maybe the players really like him, and it is just that you've been unlucky. Maybe he's not a terrible coach to the players. It's just the way that we view him.
Well, I think we view him more on the objective side
Yeah.
of did you win, did you not, how did you lose, if you lost, why did you lose? Whereas players would obviously have relationships with him, so maybe he's good with the relationships, but as a coach, I would still say he's an overrated coach.
Oh yeah, I still think he is as well. But
Yeah, he's in that play conversation for me.
Yeah.
All right, number 3 is another trade involving Oklahoma City.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So, and when I say this trade, you say pause or play and what you would add or take away to make it work.
Yeah.
Or just an absolute no, we're not doing this. But what it says is, if the Bucks called the Thunder right now and said, we're going to give you Giannis, but what we want in return is Jalen Williams and Chet Holmgren, the Thunder would actually say no.
Yeah. I reckon no chance.
You reckon?
Yeah, why would it be
It's a conversation.
No. I don't think it is.
As soon as I said Jalen, you said no.
Yeah, because I knew I was waiting for you to say Chet. And I think that's still a no, to be honest.
I'd take Chet. I would take Giannis for Chet, easy. I don't think Chet's that great. Like, he's very good, but talking about Giannis here.
Yeah.
Top 3 player in the world right now.
100%. Giannis is also older.
Okay.
Chet, Jalen Williams are the 23.
Mm-hmm.
Chet was the DPOY leader before he got hurt. J-Dub just made all-NBA team, all-star, all-defensive.
Mm-hmm.
Giannis has been a bit injury-prone the last couple of years.
Yeah.
He's only getting older, and you've got these two guys that are 6-7 years younger.
Yeah.
Who are only going to get better.
Okay.
I think outside of the players, if you get Giannis now, it also mucks up the contract situation, because then all of a sudden you pay Shea this offseason, you're already paying Giannis the max.
Mm-hmm.
Now the rest of your roster is just going to be full of minimum guys.
That would be the big one for me about the pay. But in saying that, in not long, Jalen Williams and Chet are both going to want their money.
Yeah, but neither of them are going to get paid as much as Giannis does.
Combined,
yeah. But
that's what I'm
individually, but then also, because we drafted them, we can go over the tax and still retain certain players. Because we didn't draft Giannis, we don't have this bird.
Yes.
Then it really minimizes what you can do with the roster.
Yeah.
Similar to what the Bucks are doing right now when they trade for
Dame. Yes, with Dame.
So I think it just pigeonholes you. Yes, Shane Giannis is probably like an amazing combo.
I think you win the chip next year straight away.
It'd be awesome. But I think in the long...
Like, Giannis is a better defensive player than Chet. Yeah, he is, yes.
I mean, there's aspects to it, right? But I think it's a bad trade for the future, and I think it's a bad trade.
Well, my take actually said the Thunder would say no.
Yeah.
I had the Thunder say no. I thought maybe if there's a little bit of like a role player added in with a couple of picks from the Thunder, into the trade, and you add like a decent role player who doesn't get that much money, then it would work. Because I could say now you're getting Giannis and a role player. Yes, you're giving up a couple of picks, but if the Thunder, you're probably like, if you're that good, you're not going to need the picks because you're not going to get good picks anyway. Know what I'm saying? They're going to have low picks.
No, because a lot of the picks that we have...
Well, it depends on whose picks they are. But I am shocked that as soon as I said Jalen, you said no.
Well, because, okay, realistically or hypothetically, right, if we were to trade Giannis, I think we could do it without Chet or Jalen Williams being involved.
Who would you have involved?
I reckon you go Hartenstein, you'd go Casey Wallace, you'd go Aaron Wiggins, and you'd throw like 7 draft picks, like 7 firsts.
I don't know.
You got a young
I don't know.
Hartenstein still in 26. You get
Yeah.
2 young guards,
Yeah.
and you get a crazy.
I'm not saying yes to that if I'm the Bucks though.
If I'm the Bucks,
If I'm the Bucks, I want a good player.
if I'm 100% right, but
I want a Chet. I want a Jalen. I think with one of those guys, you're saying yes. No, maybe not with both, but definitely if you said to me, "Oh, all right, Giannis, we'll give you Giannis. We just want one of Jalen and Chet and some picks and other roles," you'd go, "Okay, damn right, just one of them." Yeah,
I still don't think so,
you're saying yes.
because I still think both of them can get way better. Whereas we've kind of seen Giannis's peak.
Giannis' peak is back-to-back MVPs.
100%. But they're both still getting better. Like as a number, like I said, as a number 2 option, J-Dub just made All NBA, All Star, All Defensive, and Chet was a DPOY front runner before he got hurt.
Yeah, I would still say, yeah, I'd take one of them easily. Maybe not both. I did say no to the trade with both, but definitely one of them you're taking. Yeah. Giannis.
No, I still don't think so.
Just one of them going? Yeah. Yeah. Because you're not saying yes if you're the Bucks to Hartenstein and Wiggins. I'm being like, cool, but they're bench players.
Yeah.
Why am I giving away a top 3 player in the world? Bench players.
For the draft years. That's what you would do it for. You do it for the draft years.
About it.
And the players are
because I still think the trade when, Paul George got sent over and you guys got a bunch of picks and stuff, I was like, what the hell's going on there? Like, both teams stuffed up there. You guys ended up being sweet because you drafted really well.
Yeah.
But that's because you drafted well. A lot of teams don't draft well. And I don't know.
So that's the risk.
I don't know. I don't know whether
I
don't know when the Bucks are going to draft well. That's why I don't know if I'd take it. But we're going to say pause.
Yeah.
Definitely not happening. Well, I said no. It wasn't going to happen. So maybe it's a play because I technically said no. Yeah, technically. I don't know.
I don't see it happening. Even with one of them, I still don't see it happening.
Okay. Number 4. This is my favorite one. I agree with this.
Mm-hmm.
Steph Curry has had the greatest impact on the NBA ever. Just pure impact on the league. He's had the greatest impact ever.
Yes and no. Let me
The cop out.
Let me explain, right?
Okay.
Yes, because I think it changed the way a lot of players
play the game.
now play.
Yep.
But then you have guys like Shaq who literally changed the rules of the league.
Mm-hmm.
So it depends what you classify as more impactful. Guys shooting more threes or like literal rule changes?
I would say the fact that guys shoot more threes, the whole game has been changed. The whole way teams play, the whole structure of offenses, the whole structure of your team, the way guys have had to change from their to make the league now, instead of being, let's say, a big body who could play good on the inside, it's like, cool, but can you shoot 3? Because if not, we don't want you, right? And this is just most of the time. There's obviously some guys that will get picked up still, but most of the time, unless you're a Shaq type player, they're pretty much going, well, if you don't shoot 3, we don't really want you.
But it was like that a few years ago. It's kind of coming back now. Like for a few years when the Warriors were winning, you kind of didn't see a whole lot of big men play, a whole lot of center play.
Well, no, because they played small ball, and you couldn't play them unless you played small ball.
Exactly. But now look at it. When healthy, 2 of the top 5 players are centers. Giannis is a big man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so
guys without an outside shot.
So my point is, I don't think you can credit all of that to Steph, because then you have teams like the Celtics, who their entire offense is built around shooting the 3. And I think because it's an analytics thing, that was going to happen with or without Steph Curry.
Yeah, but I think the difference of Steph was that Steph shooting the way he did freed up everyone to have that take and be like, okay, we're going to do that without getting criticized as much because now Steph does it. I would say Steph did have the greatest impact in the NBA. I didn't think you were going to go to Shaq, actually. I thought you'd go like an AI or a Jordan or a Magic and Bird. Well, that was going to be your rebuttal.
Back can be so many things.
That's what I thought your rebuttal was going to be. And that was the only one I was thinking.
Same thing like culture-wise, right?
That's what I was thinking, like culture, the AI, or just the game becoming a global game from Jordan.
Yeah, I'm going to pause on that one because I think everyone's had a massive impact. There's a group of guys that have had a massive impact in their own way.
I'd say there's
Like,
probably.
yeah,
I reckon I've
I would-
named 7 guys.
I would say
To
that
say that.
Steph revolutionized the 3, and he
Yeah.
impacted the 3, but that's all. I don't think
I'd say more than
I
that
don't
as
think
well.
he changed much else.
Well, there's also the thing of like being like a face of the NBA, right? It's a big topic. That Steph has also changed how old guys can be in the league, for one,
Mm-hmm.
because you don't need to be athletic as much. Like, Steph could be 38, 40 and be still a great player, whereas in the past, you need a lot more athleticism, whereas he's like, no, I don't really need my athleticism. I'm just going to be able to, if I can shoot well, I can still be effective in the league. Maybe I won't be the best, but I'll still be effective.
I wouldn't put that on Steph because he had guys a few years ago like Vince Carter playing until they were 41.
Yeah, but he wasn't really effective. If he was
Okay, LeBron right now.
LeBron's one, but he's an anomaly.
100%, but
Like,
I don't think you can pin Steph on that.
I'd pin Steph on the majority of it. And then I would say as well, the whole like, when kids go to the park and shoot a ball around, what did they used to do? What do they do now? Kids used to be like, I want to dunk like Jordan. I want to be able to jump up, all this, the fadeaway. Kids go to the park now. It's the first thing they do.
They shoot the 3.
They shoot the 3. They want to be Steph. And a big part of that is because Steph showed that you don't need to be the biggest. You don't have to be the most athletic. You don't have to be these anomaly of a person to make the NBA. Yes, he's still 6'3", you know, still insanely athletic, but he kind of changed it from you have to be these freaks to I look like a normal dude, but I can shoot the hell out of this ball. And if you work hard enough at shooting, you can make the NBA. So kids now just want to be Steph.
But then that's still just him changing the 3 and nothing else.
Yeah, but that's also an impact on kids, not just the game. That's what I'm saying. Like,
But impact on kids, you could say Bron, you could say Jordan, you could say.
I would still say
like
more people would want to be like Steph than Bron because they would see themselves in Steph more. Whereas when they look at Bron, they're like, he's 2'9", 250, an absolute freak of an athlete. So many more people are just like, I'll never be that guy. I just can't be that. Whereas more people would be like, I could be Steph. Like kids as well. They'd be like, I could do what Steph does. I could do that. I could be little. I could shoot. Whereas they look at Bron, they're like, I'm 5'8". I'm never going to be that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I think he's had more of an impact in that way with the kids than what LeBron has, more because people can actually believe they can be Steph more so than they can believe they can be Bron, because Bron's such a freak athlete.
I would still say Steph's impact in terms of the 3, 100%, but that's probably it.
I reckon, yeah, he's had probably the biggest impact ever on the game.
Okay, I disagree. So I'm pausing that one.
Okay, fair enough. That's all my pausal plays. I had my 4. They were actually really hard to find. Some of those were like pure. I was just sitting there. I was like, what can I think of that I believe really heavily? Some of them I just found on Twitter and stuff like that. I was just like, that's stupid. Let's put that one in. Like the Bucks trade. I was like, okay, let's see how I can make this one work.
That trade never happening.
Well, I don't think it would ever happen, but it was a good idea.
But
KD though says he wants to go to the Spurs.
KD, yeah. I saw a photo, actually. I don't know how real it is, but I saw a photo of a Durant jersey in the Spurs locker room.
All right.
Yeah.
It's probably not real because that's really early to put it in the locker room.
Well, unless it's like literally about to get announced in the next few days and just prepping for it, you know what I mean? Because if they said they wanted to trade him before the draft, it's 2 weeks away.
Yeah, it's close, isn't it?
Mm.
It is close.
So
they got to get it done soon, especially if they want to like make their moves for the like the Suns. If they want to actually have a think about who they want to take and stuff like that, you got to make the trade soon so they can make a full on case of this is who we're going to pick. This is why.
Well, I've seen a lot about just a lot of moves coming around the draft time because there's a lot of teams that want to reshuffle. There's teams that like the Philly, who the guys that they want to get, they could drop and they could still get those guys.
Yeah.
So like reshuffling, just trading away role players, KD. Like
I think a lot of teams in the East will surprise people and make big moves.
I think there's
because I think a lot
in the West as well, though. To be honest,
I just think a lot in the East because with Boston now, with the JT injury, a lot of teams are being like, "Oh, here's our chance." Of like, we don't need to be a superstar outfit, but we can really contend in the East because it's going to be so weak next year.
Yeah.
Like that, it'll be a good East, I think, because it'll be close, but it's gonna be weak.
Yeah.
I do think. Like, it's not gonna be the strongest season. I reckon a lot of teams feel they'll have a chance next year. So I think there'll be a lot of teams that are gonna give it quite a red hot crack next year, like Philly.
Well, I think there's a lot of teams that kind of have to, right? Like even in the West, like
The West still be like so strong.
it is, but it can get better. Like imagine if the Lakers had a center.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
See, what's his name? What's the lead? Jackson Hayes.
Yeah.
So they might lose their only center.
I don't think that's that important, to be honest. I would let them go.
Yeah, but then you need to make sure you get a center.
Yeah, they have the pieces to be able to, but
They just need to get one.
I wouldn't be looking at Jackson Hayes like, oh no, don't leave. Please stay.
It depends if they can make a move for a center. If they can't, then I would be like, yeah, we need you because we need at least a big body.
No, I think anything is better than Jackson Hayes.
I mean, he's not that bad. He's not great.
Good.
He's not good, but like, he's not that bad. Come on, man. It's like a Siakam take. He's gone.
All right, on that note,
All right, let's get to the NBA final.
let's talk about the forum.
Yes.
Series tied 1-1. Game 3 tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Indy won the first game, won that Halliburton game winner. OKP comes back and wins by basically 20 points.
Mm-hmm.
Game 2, what are your thoughts so far?
Look, I had the Thunder in 6. I think I made a pretty good choice there.
Yeah.
I did say before the series, the Pacers, if they want to make it a series, had to win game 1, and they did. But weirdly, the way after game 2 made me feel with how easily the Thunder dealt with them.
Yeah.
Like, it was a 20-point game the whole time.
The whole time.
Like, it just wasn't close. Indy didn't make a run.
Yeah.
The defense was just suffocating. Hallie was just ghost until the 4th when they were gone anyways. And he hit a few big shots, like a few good shots, but it was like, okay, you're gone now.
Yeah.
Like, it just wasn't, it was a bad game. What I will say, though, on the game is the Pacers, I don't think either team's played well.
I think OKC played well
for
games.
Periods. But I don't think they, even watching them, like, offensively, I was like, they've got more to go.
Yeah.
I was like, Thunder's got more to go.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I've watched them, either team, and been like, oh, you guys are playing good. The only good thing is, like, Indiana have clawed out a victory playing one good quarter of basketball.
Yeah.
That's a positive for Indiana. But then it's also a positive for the Thunder.
Yeah.
They've only played one good quarter against us. If we play a really good game 3, we're probably going to break their spirit and it's over.
Yeah. I know what you mean. Like, I don't think either team so far has had a full 48 minutes where they've played really well.
Yeah, that's what, like, game 1, Indiana win, but they led for 0.3 of the second.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, you won the game, but it's like watching the game.
Did you watch game 1?
Only parts of it. I've watched highlights and stuff, but obviously I was working, so I didn't get to watch the full game.
Yeah. Well, there were parts of game 1 where if you're Indy, you're looking at it and you're like, all right, we won. Outside of Tyrese's shot, we got there kind of on lock. Miles Turner had a corner bank.
I was about to mention that exact shot. I remember seeing that and I was like, okay, that you were not aiming for a bank 3, step back 3.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that one.
There was a lane violation called, which when was the last time a lane violation was called in the NBA? Never.
Yeah.
So there was a bunch of things that went to pace play where if I'm them, I'm like, we won game 1.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of luck.
But in saying that, we said that about game 1 against the Knicks.
Yeah, but
and about game 2 against the Cavs.
Different level of teams.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying, like, we did say this about that too. And we're like, oh, these are the positives for the other team. But Indiana just clawed their way. But I also didn't see Indiana get pumped in game 2.
Yeah.
And just look insignificant in comparison. I've seen the Thunder a better team.
Yeah.
I don't see them losing the series. Shea has looked pretty good. Game 1, he was a bit average. Like, yeah, he had 38, but it was on 30-odd shots. Like, he just wasn't efficient. But game 2, he was.
Well, the biggest difference watching it was playmaking, right?
Yeah.
And that's not even counting just like assists.
No, he was just like driving the lane, kick out. Guys were getting open in game 2, especially. But like, as I said, like, yeah, game 1, he didn't play great. Like, yeah, I know he had 38, but I thought his 34 was better in game 2. played a lot better in game 2. He just wasn't efficient in game 1.
I think he picked his shots a bit better in game 2. Like I said, he was being a bit more of a floor general that second game as well. Like you saw Caruso and Wiggins at 38 off the bench.
Yeah.
So yeah,
very
impressive performance from the MVP.
Yeah. And then, I just think they're going to win 6. I will say, and I don't know if this is a hot take, watching Shea in press conferences and how, mature he is, he's just they were talking about after game 1. And he's like, look, he just broke it down. I missed this shot. We did this. We did that. They did this. This was a bit lucky. Halliburton hit the shot. That's why we lost in game 2. If we do A, B, and C, we're going to win. And they go out and do it. And he's just so mature with it all. That's part of the reason why nobody wants him to be the face of the NBA.
Yeah.
Is because he's too mature where you want your face to have a little bit of controversy around him. A little bit of that. Did they just say that? A little bit.
You want him to have that.
I don't know if that's a hot take, but I just think that he's too mature to be the face of the NBA almost. Where part of it is he's not interesting enough because you try and bait him into a question and he'll answer the question perfectly.
Yeah. I don't think mature is the right word, right? I think there's a few guys in the league who just, as soon as the question get asked, they just speak, right? They don't really think about it. Yeah. Ant's one of those guys. He doesn't really think, he just says it, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it makes for more entertaining answers and it's more viral and all that stuff. A lot of the times, if you watch Shea in any kind of interview, half the time he'll wait a couple of seconds, he'll genuinely think about the question, and he'll give you a proper response. And it doesn't make for any viral views or clicks, but
his family doesn't make any headlines. He has a wife. He's a loving husband. I think it's his wife.
Yeah,
they're actually married, but he just doesn't do anything wrong. He's just not boring, but part of the reason why Jokic isn't really a face in the NBA, it's once the NBA season's over, he's ghosted. So then it's he can't be the face of the NBA, and he just doesn't look that interested. Giannis is kind of similar. People didn't want him to be the face because, again, he was a bit too he'd actually think about his answers. When they'd lose, teams were waiting for him to just blow up, and he's oh, this is part of the game. Sometimes you lose.
On that note, Giannis has turned into a bit of a hothead, but
a little bit lately, but I'm talking about more when he was
MVP,
and stuff like that. He might lose, and they'd be oh, can't believe you lost. What happened there? Who lost the game for you? And he's oh, sometimes you lose.
Yeah.
And I remember some people getting angry about him saying that, but I was always for it. I'm that's a fair point.
I mean, it's honest, right?
Yeah, because it's part of it. You lose and then you win.
Yeah.
Whereas it's they're looking for a guy to be, like an Ant, where he's just gonna say things. He's gonna get texts. He's gonna do all that stuff, and that's part of the reason I think Shea isn't a face of the NBA candidate, is because he's just too thoughtful, too analytical, too, in my eyes, I just see it as maturity.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if it's a hot take, but that's kind of what I think with him.
Yeah, I don't know if you agree. I don't know if that's a hot take. I think it's true, right? When you look at, maybe not the NBA page specifically, because they'll post games from whoever. But you look at places like House of Highlights. They'll post an Ant post-game moment 10 times over before they post one of a guy like Shea or a guy...
Because it doesn't get the clicks.
Exactly.
Correct.
So, yeah, no, I don't think it's a hot take. I think it's just kind of how it is. But I don't agree with the whole face of the league thing, because I think Giannis was that for a few years. I also don't think it's necessarily one person, right?
I think it's kind of been Steph and LeBron for years. And I don't think it has. I think it still is.
It has, but even now, I don't think it's one person. I don't think it's, maybe outside of
we're also in a weird...
I don't think it's ever really been just one person.
Well, it was Magic and Bird, I believe, and then it was Jordan. And then they kind of had a weird period where it was kind of Shaq.
Kind of AI.
Yeah. It was a Shaq and Kobe together, though, because they were together, and then kind of AI. They went through a little period where it was whoever was winning, I guess, but there was no real face. It was just kind of in the balance. Then LeBron came in. I think it was LeBron. And then Steph started getting into it, and I think Steph not took it away, but kind of just went onto his level.
But I don't even think...
And it was together, they were the faces.
When it was Bron, I don't even think it was only LeBron, right? You still had Kobe, but you had KD as well.
I don't think KD was ever in that conversation.
I think he was.
Not as a face. I think
I mean, on the
he was a great
Thunder
player,
teams,
but I don't think he was a face because when he was on those early Thunder teams was when Bron made the big move to Miami. If Bron never went to Miami and stayed in Cleveland, I agree, probably. But I think when he went to Miami, it was such a headline that it kind of outshone everybody else because of the headline around
But
it.
I still think you can have more than one face. Like
You can.
I think you have a group of people.
And I think Steph and LeBron are the
outside
face.
of like Jordan.
Yeah. But Jordan was so like, polarizing in that era.
Yeah.
Like it was just him.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, like I think even now, like, yeah, there's other guys who are big, but you look at jersey sales, you look at ticket sales, all those things, it's always the Bron Steph.
Yeah.
I think it's just their names, they're the big men. I know they're still winning somehow when they're old. So yeah, I don't know. We're in a weird period where I think we're in that transition and we're just seeing who will be the face coming up, and some guys don't want it right now. Like Jokic obviously does not want that face.
Oh, I don't know.
I think
Jokic
watching
is one of those
Jokic,
guys.
that's just like, oh, season's over, I'm done.
Yeah.
He treats it as a job.
Which I mean, fair enough.
I'm not blaming him. I'm just saying, like, as a face, like, I don't think he would be a face because he treats it like a job.
Well, I think a big thing is relatability, and I don't think he's that relatable to a lot of people because he just kind of disappears. And there's not a whole lot of people, like, especially when you look at a place like America, there's not a whole lot of people that go and do, like, horse carriage races. Like, it's not a very big thing over there.
And have his kind of off season just drinking beer.
Yeah, like
smoking cigars and just doing horse racing. He's like, yeah, I'll be ready to win another MVP next year.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
face of the league is an interesting.
I don't love the conversation either.
No,
but I just thought it was a good point that I was thinking about the other day.
Yeah.
On the other note, what do you think about it's made a bit of controversy with the finals floor.
The floor.
Yeah, and like the whole there's no NBA finals, you can't really tell. Then they had the hologram in game 2, which I'm
terrible. That was so.
That was a shocker.
I
just want to see
the floor, right? I think the whole atmosphere.
Yeah,
I think the scoreboard.
That's a big one.
Floor, and I don't know about you, but whenever I think of the finals, and I think of like when they're about to play like ad break or something.
Yeah.
There's that music.
Yeah.
You know exactly what music I'm talking about.
There's the music, and then there's like the I don't know, the screen that comes up, I guess, that will have like NBA finals and will have the two teams. It's in gold and
ages they had the same soundtrack.
Yeah.
And now there's no soundtrack. On the scoreboard, there's just this little NBA finals. It's tiny.
And that has YouTube TV and all this. I'm like, okay, cool.
Nothing on the court. I understand having sponsors. You've always had sponsors. Yeah, there's no reason why the sponsors and their logos should be bigger than what's meant to be the most important event of your calendar year.
What I don't get is like, you got the Thunder logo there. They used to have a mad trophy there. That's just something you could put there.
Well, I saw this thing.
It was apparently for player safety.
But then the NBA Cup logos.
Yeah, like
that's a whole different board.
It's a whole different court.
You've got a massive NBA Cup under the logo.
Yeah.
Different about that.
So you can do that mid-season, but you can't do it for the NBA finals.
Exactly.
And like they had that cheap little cup thing that were like in awkward positions as well. Just weird. I would love to just see like finals in that cool writing. I'd love to see the gold, like scoreboard, and it just look like a finals.
I want to see something.
Yeah.
I think the last time there was like I'm just trying to think, right? The last couple of finals, I don't feel like there's been a whole lot. The last time I actually remember there being something on the court and a scoreboard or something was when Milwaukee won it. I remember Milwaukee having a gold scoreboard and having little finals logos around the court.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure they did.
See, I was going back to Toronto.
I know Toronto did, but
that's what I was thinking back to. I thought COVID might have stopped it.
I just want to see something.
Yeah,
like it's the finals.
Make me feel it.
Yeah.
No, I thought it was a cool little thing. That would be cool. Like, I don't know. You don't really watch Origin much, right? You don't watch the footy. You probably watch Origin.
Some pieces.
But, like, you probably don't watch, like, before the game. There's, like, this thing, and it's Gus Gould, and he's one of the commentators and used to be a big part of the Panthers and stuff, and the Dogs. And he does a speech.
Yeah.
And he'll be on the field, microphone in hand, and the boys are in the change rooms about to come out, and he does a speech and just drops bars about what it means to the States, how big this game is. It is just, it gets you pumped up. You're watching it, and he'll do the speech. He'll go to an ad break, they'll run on.
Yeah.
And it is like, you're getting up, you're like, let's go. You almost turn it on, ready for it. He doesn't really do it anymore, but he used to do it. I was just thinking, I heard someone be like, it'd be cool if they did like a little speech. And I thought immediately of Gus Gould and Origin. And I thought, imagine you get somebody on the court, you get them doing a mad speech about what it means for each team. Kind of like, you know, when Pat McAfee did that little speech for Indiana against the Knicks?
Yeah.
Like, it was tiny, but everybody just loved it.
Everyone got raw.
Everyone loved it.
Yeah.
Something like that, where like it gets people just ready to go. You get them on the mic for the actual court so you can get the crowd involved into it. You put on the TV. It would just be sick.
Yeah.
That would just get me like, I'd sit down an extra 10 minutes early just to do that instead of turning it on as soon as the game's about to start.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, let me watch this.
No.
I would love a little speech like that.
I think even just the prep to it, right? Like, I turn on the game.
Yeah.
They don't view the starting lineups coming out. They don't view anything really. They show, they're like, oh, welcome to game 2 of the NBA Finals. They show 5 minutes of ads, and then it's their digital starters. They don't show the starters walking out or the amount.
I want an atmosphere.
Exactly. Like, it's meant to be a bit.
It's like goddamn finals.
Make me feel like it's the
I agree. I just love it. This is amazing.
Yeah.
But you know what? I don't make these decisions.
I think
I wish I did.
They need to improve on it because of the amount of people that are complaining about it.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's clearly something that people want to see.
Yep.
I don't understand why you would get rid of it in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
There's no reason why an NBA Cup game in October should have a more, what's the word? Like a more special environment than the finals.
Yes.
I understand they want to promote the cup and they want to promote it as being important.
Yeah.
But it's the finals.
Like, the finals is your main event. And this is what everyone's building up for.
Exactly. If anyone's going to tune into the NBA, it's going to be All-Star Weekend or it's going to be the finals. Like, just for the casual persons.
Correct.
Make it feel that way.
Make everyone be like, this is it. And I don't know, just the atmosphere's been shocking. I'd love to see change. I'd love to see Indy do it as well, because I could see Indy doing another Pat McAfee type of speech. Just make it feel like, imagine a Reggie speech. In Indiana.
I don't think you could do Reggie. But
you couldn't because he's a commentator and stuff. But just imagine like Reggie getting up with a mic in front of the whole crowd.
It'd be awesome.
And just being like, this is what it means to me.
It'd be sick.
And I would be like, this is it. Get me involved. Like, this is amazing. That crowd would love it.
Yeah, 100%.
It'd be so cool.
100%.
Yeah.
And they need to change something and they need to make it feel special, because at the moment it just feels like a game in November.
Yeah, it just feels like another game. It just feels like a Steph, like LeBron game.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like. Like, it's bigger than a normal regular season game because it's Steph LeBron. But it's just like, okay, cool.
If you were just the average person and you went to the pub, and it was on the TV, you wouldn't be like, oh my god, this is the NBA Finals.
I'm like, let's watch it. These are the best 2 teams in the league.
Yeah, you'd be like, oh, Thunder Pacers, all right, cool.
Yeah, cool. Oh, Oklahoma. Oh, Indiana. The hell's going on here?
Yeah.
Like, that's what they think. Yeah. Where's LA? Where's all these? No. This is your NBA Finals. I want people to look at it and go, these are the best 2 teams in the world. This is the MVP on one of these teams.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It'd be so cool.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. 100%.
But we probably need to move on. It is your segment, UFC.
Let's talk about the UFC.
Yes, this is your segment. Go.
So before we really... Actually, let me break down what we're going to do.
Okay.
So we're going to do a 316 recap.
Yep.
We're going to talk about Fight Night this week. Tomorrow, Usman and Joaquin Buckley.
Yep.
But before we do any of that, I'd like to shout out Josh Van. For those of you who have been watching the show since episode 1 or 2, whenever I first brought him,
knows he's an absolute glazer.
I am an absolute Josh Van glazer. I've been hyped on him since he was in the early prelims, and it just got announced this morning that after a 316 knockout run, he's stepping up in 2 weeks' time on UFC 317 for a contenders fight against Brendan Royval. Manel Karp is out, Josh Van is in, and I'm like way too excited.
Yeah.
This is just one of those guys that I've been watching him since his literal first fight. I've told you so many times he's going to be an absolute weapon.
You have told me way too many times.
And if he beats Royval, he's in that top 3.
Yeah.
He's in title contention.
I'm not even going to lie.
It makes me feel good.
You started talking about the guy. I just looked up where Myanmar was. I was like, where is this place? I did not know it was next to Thailand.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
I did.
Yeah, Desert Trophy.
I did.
You could probably know every single country it's touching.
Probably.
There's China.
He just bought his mum a house.
Did he?
Yep.
I didn't know that.
With his bonus money.
Close to Bangladesh.
Yep.
It's kind of cool.
Point is, Josh Van,
Laos.
he's a goat. I hope you get it.
Okay. He's not the goat.
You're one of our goats.
Look, it was good. He's coming on soon, which I love. But yeah, you absolutely love it. I hope he wins for your sake. He's fighting a number 1 ranked guy.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy.
That's crazy.
Like it's a big jump. 14 versus 1 is bad.
It's insane.
2 weeks notice as well.
Yeah.
After a fight.
Yeah.
Like it's not even like you just weren't even in camp and we're like, whoa, you're not even in camp. You've just had a fight.
He wants to scrap.
Like, he just wants to fight. He's just like, let's go. He's like, it's boring in Myanmar. Let's go.
Yeah.
I just want to keep fighting.
Let's do it.
And then your other man, Kevin Holland, got it done.
Kevin Holland, you're also the GOAT. I love you.
Oh my God.
Kevin Holland title reign begins.
You know what? Can I say something? I don't know if I'm worried or happy, and I can't wait. All the guys you love lately are winning. I don't know if that's setting you up for failure when it comes to Charles, or if this is like it's gonna keep rolling on for it.
All of my favorites, they're on a win streak.
I don't know
for Sean O'Malley.
I don't know if that's just setting us up for failure.
No, well, listen, right? Listen,
You're a Sean O'Malley lover.
I love Sean.
Okay. I didn't mind him. I think he's good, but I didn't know you were like, yeah, Sean.
Don't get me wrong. I also really, really like Marab.
I think Marab's one of the better. I just think Marab's my favorite from that area.
Yeah,
because he's got a personality.
I also really like Marab. I think he's hilarious, right? But I love Sean.
Yes. What do you want to get into first?
Well, let's go through. Let's go through the main card.
Okay.
All right, we'll go through the main card. So Vicente Luque versus Kevin Holland. Kevin won by Das choke. In the second round.
Yep.
Which is Luque's signature move.
Which doesn't shock me. Kevin Holland's gone for it.
Personally, I think he did it on purpose. Like,
that's what I'm saying.
This is what you're known for.
I'm gonna try.
I'm gonna do it.
I think he said, "I'm gonna die by the sword. I'm just gonna see if I can do it."
Yeah,
it'd be funny as.
Yeah.
I agree. I think that's what he tried to do.
Like I said, Kevin Holland, he's in the top 15. He's coming off of 3 wins in a row. I think.
Yep.
He called out Colby Covington, which personally I love that fight.
I just hate Colby.
I think it's too shit to if going up against each other.
I just love to see Colby get his head bashed in. But
it would be amazing.
Yeah.
Right.
I did say though, I could see Colby beating him.
Colby's good.
If Colby's good. You did not say that downstairs.
I don't want him to win.
I said he's good and you went, no.
Holland would sleep in 100%, right?
Okay.
But he's not bad.
Okay. Yeah. Yes. I think I had Holland winning that fight. I did because I would remember you getting pissed off at me if I picked Luque. So I'm pretty sure I had Holland.
Yeah.
Yes. Correct.
Next up was Mario Batista versus Patchy Mix.
Yep.
We both picked Batista.
Yes.
However, Patchy Mix was the way the broadcast was talking about him, the way he was hyped up.
Well, he was the favorite.
He was the favorite, and not by a little amount either. Like it was a.
It's a little amount. It wasn't massive. It was only minus 180.
It was bitter. It went down just before the fight started.
Yeah. Okay.
He was the favorite. Everyone was hyping him up,
saying
he's going to have one of the best UFC debuts ever. Like what a privilege it is.
So that was my whole point. Was I'm going with Batista because I don't really know the guy.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know. He's from 1SC. Last time I saw a guy from 1SC, he got bodied.
Yeah.
And he just didn't look good enough. And he was like a number 1 ranked from 1SC. Now we got this guy.
Well, listen.
But he fought alright. Like, I mean,
actually,
like, it was decision. It was unanimous to Mario. What?
It was an absolute clinic for Batista.
Was it?
Absolutely.
I heard otherwise. I didn't watch the fight, but I heard, Patchy didn't get bodied.
It was an absolute clinic.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah.
That shocks me a bit.
Patchy had 0 head movement. He's a grappler. He didn't land a single takedown.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't even really try. Like his attempt.
He was none of one for the whole fight.
His attempt was the most half-assed takedown attempt I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Like Mario Batista is not terrible, but Patchy Mix made Batista look like the next bantamweight go.
To be fair, looking at like the stats, like the whole fight, not a lot happened. It was just dead set. It looks like it was just a standing.
Yeah.
Pretty much a bang. Like the significant strikes and the normal strikes, they're not that far away that I would be like, oh, he bodied.
No,
from looking.
This is one of those fights like where the stats don't do it
justice.
The stat makes it look way closer than what it was.
Because I was watching it's like a TikTok of a podcast, and they were talking about the fights. And they were like, oh, Batista won. Patchy Mix had his debut. He wasn't too bad. He lost.
He didn't look good.
And I was like, oh, okay, that's not bad.
No, he didn't look good.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
okay. Fair enough.
I was pretty disappointed, especially with the way like Joe Rogan and DC were talking about him. I was like, oh, this guy's going to come out. He's going to put on a show, right?
Yeah.
Didn't at all.
Yeah.
He was stiff. There was no foot movement. There was no head movement. He went for one takedown with half ass. Like, yeah, it wasn't the fight that I think everyone was expecting it to.
Yeah, okay.
Next up, we had Kelvin Gastelum versus Joe Pyfer.
Yeah.
Pyfer won. I know I had Pyfer. I can't remember. I think you had Pyfer as well.
I think I had Pyfer. I don't think we had many differences through this card.
I don't think so.
I think we were pretty much the same the whole card.
Yeah. Pyfer looked really good.
Yep.
Gastelum has an absolute chin on him. I don't know if you've seen some of the shots that he took.
I can't lie. I haven't even looked at highlights for this fight.
But Joe Pyfer landed some absolute monster hooks.
Yeah.
Monster overhands. And Gastelum he got dropped, but he was not rocked at all. He just
he got 2 knockdowns in the first.
It was insane. And they were massive hits. When I tell you it like echoed, it was massive.
Can I say there weren't that many shots thrown?
No, it was a very low volume fight.
Like 58 total strikes.
Yeah. It was
to 34.
It was low volume, but the strikes that were thrown were like absolute hammers.
57 out of the 58 were significant.
Yeah.
And 33 out of the 34 were significant.
Yes.
So, by the looks of it, every strike thrown was like with some meaning behind it.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. I haven't watched that one at all. And did, however, hear about this next one.
Juliana Pena versus Kayla Harrison.
Yeah, we both said Kayla would win.
Yeah.
I think I was higher on Juliana than you were.
I said she was going to get mauled.
And I said it would be somewhat close. I said I was giving her flowers.
It was not close.
It was not close.
It was not.
So I was wrong. But I was at least giving her flowers of she's a champion. She's also been a previous champion. She got bodied. But,
No, keep going.
What did you say?
I said she's garbage.
She did get bodied.
Yeah, she got bodied.
Look, I was wrong. There's nothing else to say.
I think Kayla, for the first time,
man, she looked like a beast, bro.
In a while, she's like a women's fighter where I'm like, you're like entertaining, you're fun, you've got hype around.
Kind of like what Ronda yesterday.
Exactly, right?
Yeah.
And they've already said that it's
what's the name is for a fighter?
So Kayla's first title defense will be against Amanda Nunes. She's coming out of retirement to do that fight.
Yeah.
I still think Kayla's going to body her, to be honest. Like,
Kayla just looks like a beast, man.
Nunes,
she's massive, bro.
Awesome. Have you seen the photos actually of Kayla's weight cut?
No.
Let me try and find these to show you.
Okay.
Because I don't know how much weight she actually has to cut,
but a lot.
Well,
it sounds like a lot.
When you here, look at her. Oh yeah. So this was her. That's a bad photo. Hold on. This was her.
Why is she bigger than me? So embarrassing.
This was her in the weight. Can I go up, bro?
What are you doing?
I'm trying to like.
Why are you so in there?
Well, because you need to have a look like at her face, but
that's not her face.
Well, clear, but yeah, you can kind of say, look at how drained she looks.
Her face is very skinny. There was white bones and everything. Yeah.
That was at weigh-ins. That was at the ceremonial weigh-ins.
Damn, she drank some water.
Yeah.
She ate some food.
So I don't know how much weight she has to cut, but I'm assuming it's a lot because I saw that photo the day before the fight and I'm like, oh my God, you look like shit.
And good luck, yeah.
Like, you've
been drained.
Like,
what Ryan looked like against Tank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, is it? And she won the belt.
She got it. I was wrong. Fair enough. Kayla, you proved me wrong. There's not much really else to say there.
No.
Yeah. And then the main event.
The main event.
So I'm going to let you go because you're the Sean guy.
Well, listen, my thoughts are like, I was really
You were high on Sean coming in.
I was, but I don't know, it's whole doubtful, right? Like, I think Marab is insane.
Marab's so good, man.
I mean, he's probably one of the best bantamweights ever.
Yeah, it's like early to say, but he could be. He's got the potential.
But look at his resume.
Yeah, like I'm just saying, like it's early to say it, but like I can see where you're coming from. Like it could happen. Yeah, he could in a couple more fights be in that like serious one of the greatest.
Genuinely, he's already like top 3. 100%. He smoked Cejudo. He smoked Aldo. He smoked O'Malley twice. He's beaten.
I'm not saying like he's not up there. I'm saying it might be a little bit early to say this to the most people, but I could see it.
No, he's top 3 at least. Like I said, O'Malley twice, beat Umar. Cejudo, beat Piotr Jan, beat Jose Aldo. Yeah. Anywho, yeah, as a Sean fan, it hurt to see. I was hoping he would come out a bit more aggressive.
Yeah.
And he just didn't.
Yeah.
I think he let Marab control the tempo, which that's what Marab does, right? He controls the pace with his insane cardio.
Yeah.
But I think Sean is a distance guy, and he couldn't get to that. And as soon as that first round ended, Marab was getting everything he wanted. Sean was really struggling. I was like, all right, Marab's gonna.
Yeah.
I didn't think he was gonna win by submission. I thought it was a decision. But it was a good fight. Like Marab looked really good.
Yeah.
I don't know what you do with O'Malley now. Like coming off to.
I don't know, because like
title fight.
it's hard. Like, do you just send him up?
I would like to see him go up to 145.
Yeah, it's just like, well, who are you fighting?
Well, I think in that division, you have a lot more.
Then you got to find a fight for him.
Yeah, but I think you have a lot more strikers.
Okay, let's go up, right? Let's say he goes up to featherweight. Does he take on a guy like Brian Ortega?
You could do Ortega.
Or you could do a Rodriguez.
You could do a Lopez even.
I don't know about Lopez, because I think Lopez is a little bit higher to throw him to.
You could, but I think
I would give him to
Sean O'Malley has that Dana White privilege.
Yeah, but after back-to-back losses, I'd give him like a number 4 rank, still high enough. You win that, then you get a fight up there. Because I'm just thinking like Diego. I think Diego mauls him. I think.
Well, I don't know. It's so different, right? Because I mean,
Sean might be fast.
When you think about guys who have like pole opposite fighting styles, you got Sean, you got Marab, right? Like Marab is like Sean's kryptonite, essentially.
Yes.
I don't see a world, especially after the other day, I don't see a world where Sean could beat Marab just because of the way he fought.
Well, as soon as a striker goes up against a wrestler who can take shots as well, then it's like, oh, here we go. You're done for.
In featherweight, you've got a lot more strikers who can wrestle rather than wrestlers who can strike. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like Volk's more of a striker.
Volk's a striker. Holloway, Lopez.
Yeah.
Rodriguez.
I keep looking at Ilya, but Ilya's not in that. Like, he's just there.
Yeah.
Like, in the net, I keep looking down, I'm like, Taporia, and I'm like, what?
Yeah. Like, I think for Sean, going up is probably the move.
I would, yeah. I'm just trying to think as well, like, when Aljo went up, obviously he didn't have the Dana White privilege, and now he's just kind of been, like, forgotten about.
Well, Aljo's pulled out of a few fights.
Yeah. I'd give him, Rodriguez.
I would go Rodriguez, or I'd go Ortega if you were to drop it a few fights.
Yeah, like I'm thinking, well, is like that's your privilege giving you, yeah. You win that fight, bam. Now you're in those conversations. That's probably where I'm going. Yeah, Rodriguez, and I would like to see him go up because I don't think there's much more for him to do at bantamweight.
I don't think there is either.
Like, what you're going to give him, Umar? I think he loses.
I think he loses to Umar
because it's another wrestler that is going to take him on.
Like Jan is a rematch. I don't think you do that.
You don't do Jan. Yeah. Other than Umar, it's like a big drop off in that weight, which is kind of sad because now it's like, Marab, who are you going to fight?
I've heard a bit.
Like, do you give him Umar again?
No, I've heard a bit about Jan.
Yeah.
Or I've heard doing a Marab Pantoja fight because apparently Pantoja wants to go up.
I could see that. Like, yeah, it's just like, where do you go from here?
Yeah.
It's a tough one.
Like, I mean, Pantoja's fighting 317. He's fighting Claco France.
It's only 2 weeks after.
So maybe depending on what happens there, maybe
if he wins,
if he loses, then you give him Jan, I reckon.
Yeah.
Because if he's beat O'Malley, he's beat Umar.
So, man, there's not much else you can really do in that division. It's getting kind of hard.
Yeah.
To get something done. But yeah, I don't know.
Something else I want to touch on.
Mhm.
Said we'd touch on.
Yeah, yes.
This week's fight night.
I did just press on it.
I
knew we were going here.
There's a few.
I'm keen for the main.
There's a few good fights, right? There's a few guys that I'm pretty high on this one as well. They'll get out of my prelims. Malcolm Wellmaker.
Here we go. Okay.
Riding a one.
They're going well down. Okay. Yeah.
And a one fight win streak, which was his only fight in the UFC so far.
Oh, well, you can't start with one fight win streak. It makes it sound like he's lost 5 in a row before.
No. Won his debut by first round knockout.
Look at his fighting, Jesus.
I'm super high on this guy, on Wellmaker. So
yeah,
I'm pretty keen to watch him fight. He's stepping in on short notice as well.
Yeah.
And then you've got a few veteran guys. You've got a Paul Craig. You've got a Mike Chiesa.
I was thinking those two.
But then going up to the main card.
Yep.
Cody Garbrandt's fighting.
Yes, he is.
I hope he looks good.
I'd like him to win. I mean, he's not favoured, which
he's not the favourite, but I'd like to see him pull out a win.
Yeah, I'd like to see it for his sake. Getting back close to those rankings.
Yeah,
that would be nice. Yeah, like I don't really know much about who he's fighting.
I don't know a whole lot
about him. But I'd like to see Cody win. Other than that, though, obviously for me, I like the look of the main card. Obviously, I used to be a good Kamaru. I like Kamaru. As much as I liked Leon more than Kamaru, I still liked him.
Who do you have? Because I think stylistically, this is another one where like they match up well. Like I don't think this is one where it's like, oh,
this guy has to win almost.
No, not even. It's just, oh, Usman is going to win because he does this so much better.
Yeah,
I think this is a pretty close matchup. I'm pretty keen to see it. Like I think this is one where it's 100% going to end in the stoppage. I don't see this going decision.
It's a 5 rounds.
Yeah,
5 rounder. Yeah, okay. Look, I don't know if this is my heart telling me, but I got Kamaru winning.
Yeah,
I think Kamaru. You look at what he's lost lately. He lost to Hamzat, and he lost to Leon.
Yeah,
I still think like it's not like he's lost to somebody. You're like, how the hell did you lose to that guy?
Yeah.
So I still got Kamaru winning. I think he's going to remind everyone who he is.
Okay. I've got Buckley.
I knew you would have Buckley winning.
Buckley.
I knew you would.
Buckley's another one of those guys that I'm super high on.
I know.
So
I've got Kamaru winning. I think he's going to remind everyone who he is.
Yep.
I think he's an all-time great. I think if he loses, it's like, okay, we'll pack it up. But
I think if he loses, then he's, same thing with O'Malley. Like, what do you do with him?
What do you do?
Like, he's taken almost 2 years off now.
Yeah. But I would like to see Kamaru come out and show everyone who he is. This is probably more of a heart pick than everything.
Yeah.
But I'm going to stick by it. I'm going to stick on it. Okay. Hopefully I'm right.
Okay.
Yeah. That's my pick.
Like I said, I don't think you can go wrong with this one. Like, realistically, I could see either of these guys winning. And I wouldn't be surprised. But I've got Buckley by knockout with that.
Okay.
Said.
Yeah, I knew you would. I knew you were going to go Buckley. But yeah, no. Maybe it's a heart pick. I've got Kamaru winning. Yeah. That's my pick up for the day.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's not a bad pick. It's not a bad pick. Like I said,
I knew you were going to go for that. Other than that, we do have Toporo Oliveira coming up. You got another fight night before that. That will be Hill vs Roundtree Jr., which will be a good one.
I'm very excited for that one.
Yeah, a few really good fights. We'll probably get into them in a couple of weeks.
Well, I think let's touch on Hill Roundtree.
Okay.
Next week.
Yes, that's what I was thinking. I was like, okay.
Next week after Usman Buckley.
Yep. We'll talk about Usman Buckley next week. We'll go into Hill Roundtree.
Yeah.
What we think is going on there. Yep.
Yeah.
Let's not get too ahead of ourselves.
No, like looking ahead, but there's a bunch of good fights.
There's a bunch of good ones.
There's a bunch of good ones. And they're all pretty often. Like you've got a good card.
Yeah.
Almost every week, if not 2 weeks.
Yep.
So
yes. UFC's done good lately.
I'm very excited. I'm very, very excited.
Yeah. I do agree. There's a few really good cards coming up.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's going to really close out the episode.
Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of good things coming. Yeah, we'll dive into more UFC next week. Again, looking at how Hill Roundtree and the wrap-up of Usman Buckley. Obviously, we'll keep talking about the NBA Finals. It could almost be wrapped up by then.
Yeah, one in Game 3's tomorrow. Game 4's on Sunday.
Yeah, I was about to say, not Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday.
Is it Sunday?
Yeah.
Oof.
Um,
Then there'll be a game probably Tuesday, I would guess.
I would guess Tuesday.
Are you sure it's Sunday?
I'm pretty.
Oh, yeah, no, it'll be Thursday. I thought it was Thursday, Saturday, the games. I think there's a 2-day.
Let me check.
I'm pretty sure it's a Thursday, Saturday.
So we've got tomorrow, and we've got. Oh yeah, Saturday.
Saturday, and then it'll be a Tuesday game, I'm guessing.
And
Because I'll fly back to OK.
yeah, Tuesday.
So that'll be 5 games.
Could be done by next week.
Well, I don't think it'll be
Episode.
done, but I reckon it'll be like a 3-2 lead type of thing going into Game 6. But it could be almost wrapped up. It'll come in the next week. So we could be closing out the NBA season. What we are looking to do for the NBA, you had this idea.
Yeah.
You want to explain your idea?
Yeah. So what we were thinking,
Yeah.
might be a good little idea. So pretty much as soon as the finals end, it's draft time. The
So
draft.
We want to go through our draft.
Draft is 2 weeks from today, I think.
Yeah.
So what we were thinking was we'll do like a team breakdown. Maybe we'll go division by division, and we'll break down different trades, different signings, just moves that we want to see by certain teams. And maybe like episode to episode, we'll do a different division. And like I said, we'll list off different trades, signings, draft pick, whatever that we want to see those teams make.
Yep.
If there's any rumors, can talk about those. But just a bit of an off-season breakdown of each team.
Where they should look to go.
What they should do, what we think they're going to do.
Yep.
Before the free agency signings really start picking up.
Yeah, I agree. I like that idea. I think it'll be good. Probably looking to do that after the draft.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to start 1 week before the draft and then do a couple of teams, then go after the draft and be like, oh, by the way.
Yeah.
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 So we'll probably go after the draft. But yeah, I like that idea. So yeah, we're looking to do some things in the off-season for the NBA. I'm keen for that type of segment. I reckon it'll be good.
Yeah, I reckon it'll be good.
Keep going with UFC and see what happens in the NFL, but that doesn't start till like September as well.
Yeah, that's still
They NFL is weird. It starts near the same time, like only a month before the NBA just finishes so much earlier.
Yeah.
It's quite a short season. So yeah, a lot of good things coming, and make sure you subscribe and follow, and we'll see you guys soon.
Yeah, leave in the comments if there's anything that you want to see. Also, let us know who you think, Buckley or Usman this weekend.
Yep. My heart tells me Usman.
My money tells you Buckley.
I don't bet. All right, see you guys.
Later.